This is the luxury world. Get inspired by us today and tomorrow. The watch industry is a fascinating blend of tradition, craftsmanship, and market dynamics. From luxury timepieces that hold their value to micro brands trying to carve a niche, the industry continues to evolve. In this video brought to you by the Luxury World, we will explore several key topics like the current state of the Rolex market, the debate over purchasing straps from manufacturers versus custom makers, and the growing availability of Rolex watches due to new factories. We will also talk about considerations when buying vintage Rolex models, and the distinction between micro brands and independent watchmakers. If you have not already, subscribe to our channel to avoid missing out on future content. Rolex remains one of the most sought-after luxury watch brands in the world, with a reputation for precision, durability, and status. In recent years, the secondary market for Rolex watches experienced a surge in demand, leading to inflated prices in the gray market. However, this trend has seen a correction rather than a crash. Prices have started to stabilize, approaching pre-pandemic levels. Several factors contribute to this shift. First, Rolex has been increasing production, with new manufacturing facilities expected to further boost supply. One such facility is set to become operational in 2024, with another planned for 2027. As supply increases, demand is expected to normalize, leading to shorter waiting times and potentially lower premiums on the secondary market. For collectors and buyers, this means more opportunities to purchase Rolex watches without excessive premiums. Models like the Rolex Datejust now have wait times under a month at certain authorized dealers, provided buyers do their due diligence and establish good relationships with retailers. However, some highly coveted models, such as the Steel Daytona, continue to command long waiting periods and higher secondary market prices. One common debate among watch enthusiasts is whether purchasing straps directly from manufacturers is worth the cost. Many watch brands outsource their strap production to third-party suppliers such as Jean Rousseau and Camille Fournet, yet they sell these straps at a significant markup. For those seeking customization, independent strap makers offer a compelling alternative. Custom strap makers can provide personalized designs, unique materials, and precise sizing at a similar or lower price than manufacturer straps. Customization options include initials engraving, various leather choices, stitching patterns, and custom lengths. This route often results in a better value proposition, as buyers receive a tailor-made product rather than a mass-produced option at a premium price. With Rolex expanding its manufacturing capabilities, an increase in supply is inevitable. This raises the question, will increased supply lead to lower prices? The answer depends on market demand. While Rolex continues to enjoy a loyal customer base, the heightened production levels will likely ease market shortages. Some collectors argue that the current gray market pricing will further decline as a result. Others believe that while prices may stabilize, Rolex watches will continue to hold their value due to strong brand equity and global demand. Historically, Rolex has maintained high resale values, particularly for rare and iconic models. For those interested in vintage Rolex models, the condition is paramount. Watches such as the two-tone Rolex GMT-Master 1675 Root Beer are highly desirable, but their condition varies significantly depending on prior usage and maintenance. When purchasing a vintage Rolex, buyers should carefully assess several key areas. First, the case and dial condition are crucial. Original components are highly valued, and any replacements or refinishing can negatively affect both authenticity and resale value. Look for matching patina across the dial, hands, and bezel insert, and be wary of signs of heavy polishing or imperfections like cracks, discoloration, or spotting on the dial. The bezel insert itself should be original and in good condition. Next, consider the bracelet wear. Vintage Rolex bracelets, especially folded links or Jubilee styles, tend to stretch over time. Significant stretches can detract from the watch's appearance and comfort, and restoration can be costly. Examine the end links and clasp for proper fit and function. Service history is also important. A well-maintained movement ensures longevity, but extensive refurbishments can sometimes reduce collector appeal. Ask for service records if available, but be aware that excessive polishing or heavy-handed service can diminish value. Finally, provenance plays a significant role. Full boxes and papers significantly increase the desirability and resale value of a vintage piece, providing authentication and history of the watch. Any other documentation, such as service records or previous ownership history, can also be valuable. Collectors should prioritize condition over price when acquiring a vintage Rolex, as well-preserved models tend to appreciate value over time and offer a more enjoyable ownership experience. The watch industry has seen an emergence of micro brands and independent watchmakers. While both categories operate outside of the mainstream luxury conglomerates, there are key distinctions. Micro-brands typically have smaller production runs and rely on third-party suppliers for components. These brands often start as passion projects, with founders sourcing parts from various manufacturers and assembling watches in limited quantities. Their business model is often direct-to-consumer, enabling them to offer unique designs at competitive prices. On the other hand, independent watchmakers like Harris operate on a larger scale, often possessing their own production facilities and in-house manufacturing capabilities. Unlike micro-brands, independent watchmakers have full-time staff, dedicated research and development, and a larger market presence. Harris, for example, manufactures a substantial number of watches and maintains a dedicated facility, distinguishing itself as an independent watch brand rather than a micro-brand. The prospect of Rolex prices falling is equally intriguing. While Rolex watches have traditionally been seen as investments, their prices on the secondary market have fluctuated in recent years. The pandemic-fueled surge in demand for luxury goods led to record high prices for many Rolex models, but this bubble appears to have burst, with prices now correcting. This could be due to a variety of reasons, such as increased interest rates, economic uncertainty, and a crackdown on speculative buying. However, it is crucial to maintain perspective. While waiting times may be decreasing and prices softening for some models, the overall demand for Rolex watches remains strong. The brand's reputation for quality, craftsmanship, and timeless design ensures its enduring appeal. Moreover, Rolex has a history of carefully managing its supply to maintain exclusivity and desirability. It is unlikely that the brand will flood the market with watches, even if demand cools temporarily. Therefore, it is more accurate to speak of a recalibration rather than a collapse of the Rolex market. The extreme highs of the past few years have been unsustainable, and a return to a more balanced market is arguably healthy for the brand in the long run. This could mean shorter waiting times for genuine enthusiasts, more reasonable prices for certain models, and a renewed focus on the intrinsic value of these exceptional timepieces. While it is tempting to declare the demise of Rolex wait times and prices, the reality is more nuanced. The brand's enduring appeal, coupled with its strategic management of supply, ensures its continued dominance in the luxury watch market. However, the recent trends suggest a potential shift in the landscape, with waiting times and prices becoming more manageable for some models. This could be a welcome development for genuine enthusiasts, allowing them to acquire their dream Rolex without enduring years of waiting or paying exorbitant premiums. Only time will tell whether these changes are temporary or indicative of a longer-term trend, but one thing is certain: the world of Rolex remains as fascinating and dynamic as ever. The watch market continues to evolve, influenced by supply chain dynamics, collector preferences, and new manufacturing capabilities. As a dominant player, Rolex remains at the center of discussions regarding pricing trends and market fluctuations. Meanwhile, enthusiasts have increasing options when it comes to watching accessories and independent brands. For buyers and collectors, staying informed about these trends is essential. Whether navigating the gray market, purchasing a vintage timepiece, or exploring independent brands, knowledge is the key to making informed decisions in the ever-changing world of horology. What are your thoughts on the Rolex watch topic we shared in this video? Let us know by leaving a comment and giving it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for future updates. Thank you for watching Luxury World, and we eagerly anticipate your participation in our upcoming videos.